I know where he's been and I know the money he's made.
That's it. Very impressed. Shoulder round, good effort. You're making him miss a lot as well.
Moses Itauma is laying it bare, warning Jake Paul that stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua is madness. He praises Paul's effort, but makes it clear that Anthony Joshua is on another level. He said this isn't just a fight, it's a warning and a reality check for Jake Paul.
I don't think anybody's expecting anything from Jake Paul. Like, he's fighting an Olympic gold medalist, two-time heavyweight champion of the world. But this YouTuber, like, do you know what? You gotta take your hat off to Jake Paul. He's done amazing. He's done very well. And even me, I don't think he's a bad boxer. You know, I actually think he's a decent boxer, but you're not on the caliber of obviously Anthony Joshua. But
Johnny Nelson lays it bare, saying only 1% think Jake Paul has a chance, and anyone saying otherwise is lying. He insists most fans are just watching to see Jake Paul get his ass given to him. Anthony Joshua is on another level, and this fight proves it.
I don't really think he's going to do it. So you're going to watch this to see, most people watch this to see Jake Paul get his ass given to him.
Duke McKenzie warns that if Anthony Joshua lands a serious punch, Jake Paul will face devastating damage. He highlights the danger, but admits the commercial pressure forces this fight to happen. Joshua's power and seriousness make this a one-sided clash fans cannot afford to miss.
Anthony Joshua goes into this fight with Jake Paul on a serious level and catches Jake Paul with a serious punch. He will do far more damage than that. So from a health and safety perspective, I hope the fight doesn't happen. But from a commercial perspective, the fight has to happen because this fight generates...
Derek Chisora makes it clear that this fight is mostly for children and casual viewers who want entertainment rather than a serious boxing match. He respects Anthony Joshua as the true legend at the top of the heavyweight division, while implying that Jake Paul is simply out of his depth. The commentary underlines how absurd it is for a social media star to step into the ring against a world-class champion, and shows the huge gap in experience, skill, and power between the two fighters.
I'm gonna pay to watch that. Only kids will pay to watch that. You know, and parents will give their kids money to go watch that. Great for them, but really and truly, I don't know, man. It's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. You know, let the legend, and on top of that, Mike.
Eddie Hearn explains that Anthony Joshua's team is approaching the fight with absolute seriousness. The goal is to knock Jake Paul out cleanly and quickly. Joshua is focused like he would be for a world championship bout, and shows complete professionalism. This contrasts sharply with Jake Paul, whose hype and showmanship cannot match Joshua's preparation and skill. The fight is clearly a one-sided affair in terms of technique, power, and experience, and every detail is being planned to ensure Joshua dominates from the first bell.
Is there a script? Yeah, there is a script. We come out and try and knock him out, clean out, cold. I think AJ is just completely focused on the fight, like it was a world championship fight, like it was a world championship contender. We couldn't be taking it more seriously. Is there a script? Yeah, there is a script. We come out and try and knock him out, clean out, cold.
Joseph Parker highlights the terrifying knockout power of Anthony Joshua. One clean punch and Jake Paul would be finished, showing the immense risk for the YouTuber stepping into the ring. Joshua's power is on another level, and Parker's analysis makes it clear that Paul has no realistic chance if he is hit. The commentary reinforces that this is not a casual fight or entertainment spectacle, but a dangerous clash where Joshua's experience and devastating strength make him a nightmare opponent for someone like Jake Paul.
Hell, and if he lands on you, you're done. You're out. And
Tyson Fury emphasizes the unmatchable dominance of Anthony Joshua. Even at his absolute worst and in terrible physical condition, he would still beat Jake Paul comfortably. This shows just how huge the gap is between a professional heavyweight champion and a YouTuber. Fury's words underline Joshua's superior skill, toughness, and adaptability, and highlight that Jake Paul is in a completely different league, where his chances are practically non-existent against someone of Joshua's caliber.
He could have his worst night ever and still beat Jake Paul. He could probably turn up with broken ribs, a broken left hand, 2 left feet, he's closed on back to front, and with the flu, and then still beat Jake Paul.
Anthony Joshua is completely focused on his responsibilities in the ring and treating this fight like a serious professional challenge. There is no distraction or gimmick, only preparation and execution. His mindset shows that every move is calculated and that Jake Paul is completely unprepared to deal with this level of discipline. Joshua's focus underlines the contrast between a real boxer who trains, plans, and respects the sport and a social media star who relies on hype and publicity rather than experience and skill.
I have to do my job. It's the only thing that's in my mind right now. And there's no extra time in boxing. Yeah, so yes, I have to do my job, and that's what.
Joe Rogan points out how extremely dangerous this fight is for Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua is a one-punch knockout artist who has proven his devastating power against top-level opposition. The idea that Paul could survive Joshua's strength and experience is absurd. Rogan's commentary reinforces that this is a serious fight with real risks, and that Joshua intends to demonstrate why he is a heavyweight champion, while Jake Paul steps into a world far beyond his skill set.
Paul himself might be cashing out because the big purses that he's pulling, fighting these has-beens or ex-fighters, they're dropping slowly but surely. So maybe, just maybe, this might be his last fight, getting in there with Anthony Joshua and getting knocked out.
Johnny Nelson makes it clear that Anthony Joshua's dominance is so overwhelming that Jake Paul should not be allowed to last even a single round. The skill, power, and experience gap is so large that any moment in the ring could be the end for Paul. Nelson emphasizes that Joshua doesn't need to take risks and can control the fight completely. This commentary reinforces the inevitability of Joshua's victory and highlights Paul's unpreparedness. Every word underscores that this fight is not entertainment in terms of skill. It is a demonstration of a real champion versus someone far beneath the elite level.
Unless he's torturing him all the way through. I keep saying it. I've thought about it. I'm like, you know what, AJ shouldn't let this boy last around. I'm like, nah.
Derek Chisora insists that this is an easy fight for Anthony Joshua. He predicts that Joshua will decisively dominate and end the discussion about any hype surrounding Jake Paul. The commentary illustrates how one-sided the contest is expected to be and points to Joshua's ability to overpower Paul without difficulty. Chisora's words underline that Paul has no real chance, and the fight is merely a spectacle in comparison to true heavyweight boxing. Joshua's dominance, power, and ring IQ ensure that Paul will be exposed, making this a mismatch where the outcome is almost certain before it even begins.
Easy fight for him, and I think this should be laid to rest, because I don't think AJ's gonna go in and try and pat. AJ's gonna smoke him.
Tony Bellew breaks down the size and physical advantage of Anthony Joshua over Jake Paul. The weight, reach, and natural power disparity are massive, making it almost impossible for Paul to compete. Bellew emphasizes that Joshua in proper fight conditions with standard gloves will finish Paul quickly. The commentary highlights the mismatch and stresses the reality of professional boxing against a social media fighter. Bellew's analysis demonstrates that Paul's hype does not equal capability, while Joshua's skill, size, and power make him a true heavyweight threat. The fight will be over before Paul can adapt to Joshua's level.
Anthony Joshua, who's now 5 inches bigger than you, maybe more, or 4 or 5 inches, and about 100 pounds heavier. You just don't go from there right up to there. I don't believe it. And I won't believe it until the two of them got 10-ounce gloves on in a boxing ring. Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this won't happen.
Frank Warren lays out the massive mismatch between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. Joshua's experience as a 2-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist, and natural heavyweight vastly outweighs Paul's limited record of 10 to 12 pro fights. The lack of quality opposition in Paul's career underscores the danger he faces against a real champion. Warren's commentary stresses the enormous gap in skill, preparation, and pedigree. Anthony Joshua enters the ring with overwhelming advantages and is favored in every respect, while Jake Paul is merely an entertainer stepping into a realm far beyond his capabilities.
AJ will go in as a massive favourite, former two-time world champion, naturally a natural big heavyweight, gold medalist at Olympic Games against a guy who never had any amateur fights. What's he had, about 10 or 12 pro fights, been accused of not fighting.
Logan Paul's reaction shows that even those close to Jake Paul understand the danger he faces. Witnessing Anthony Joshua in action makes it clear how outclassed Paul is. The commentary captures the shock and respect Joshua commands, highlighting that Paul is entering a fight far beyond his level. Feeling bad is natural when someone unprepared faces a true champion. This clip emphasizes that Joshua is a serious threat and that hype and social media fame cannot compensate for experience, technique, or raw power in the heavyweight division. Paul is simply not ready for Joshua.
I was the first person to see it, and I was like, dude, fuck, bro, this is wild. I can't believe this is happening. I immediately felt really bad for Jake.
Johnny Nelson points to the behind-the-scenes drama surrounding Jake Paul and the fight buildup. The commentary highlights that Anthony Joshua's professionalism exposes Paul's lack of experience and questionable decisions outside the ring. Nelson's words suggest that Paul's approach may be desperate or poorly planned. Joshua's presence forces opponents to operate on a higher level, and Paul is clearly struggling to adapt. The clip underlines the contrast between Joshua's calm, methodical preparation and Paul's chaotic, hype-driven mindset. It reinforces the notion that Joshua's focus and expertise give him a decisive edge before the first punch is even thrown.
That we don't know about, that really rattled him for him to think of and plan doing something like that.
Duke McKenzie emphasizes that Anthony Joshua will respect the fight but remains overwhelmingly superior. The commentary highlights that Paul is untested against elite athletes, making him vulnerable to Joshua's experience, speed, and power. Every punch Joshua throws is calculated and dangerous, while Paul is exposed as a social media fighter unprepared for real competition. The contrast between a world-class champion and an unproven opponent is stark. Joshua's focus and skill make him virtually impossible to beat, and any underestimation by Paul would be catastrophic. This clip reinforces Joshua's dominance and Paul's limitations in a real boxing environment.